Good morning, everybody. Bonjour. Hi. This is Neshi Lokatz, and this is Tuesday, May 29th, and this is the live stream for today's card draw. And you're watching Star Nation's organization's main fan page. Star Nations, we do a spiritual magazine. That's exactly what I'm working on right now, the June issue. We also have live stream shows right here on Facebook, Star Nations Radio Network. And we have publishing, and we also have the Academy. So we do a lot of different things for our community. Today, here in Toma, Wisconsin, where I live, it's going to be another hot day. They say it's going to be 96 again. And it was a hot weekend. I have to say that it was, we had meant to go down to the powwow this weekend, and it was so hot. I could not see dancing in a powwow ring at 96 degrees with my shawl on, no matter how hydrated I was. So we didn't go down. So this is. So we missed the powwow. Darn. Good morning, Elise and Cindy. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you being here with me this morning. It has been fun doing these card draws. I actually missed you guys yesterday. I was sleeping in the morning after I took care of Mom and got her situated for the morning. I went back to bed, and Paul covered the 10 o'clock snack and getting lunch started. And so I was able to catch a couple of hours of extra sleep. Yay! I love that. It doesn't happen too often, but when I get it, I enjoy every second of it. But I did miss you guys when I got up, and I was going to do a card draw for myself. I thought, God, I miss you guys. It's funny how you can get into a routine so quickly, isn't it? Elisa saying, morning, dear one. Hope you rested up yesterday. I wish I could work there. Was it designed for 30 years? Was it designed? I think you worked with the elderly, didn't you? I think. Yeah. I wish you were closer too. We could have some fun, if you could help take care of Mom for a little bit, and then we could actually do this around the dining room table with a cup of tea. Wouldn't that be fun in person? I used to do that where I lived down in Poinette, down near Madison, south of here. Once a month we would do spiritual roundtables at my house. It was in the afternoon. Well, actually, I take that back. We started a little bit before lunch. But I think it was at 10:30 or so, 10 o'clock. And it went until, I told them that if they stayed through supper, they had to help make supper and help clean up. But it was pretty informal. It was actually a big idea. It was a grand idea from a good friend of mine, one of my sisters, Teresa Girardi. She was my neighbor across the street, kitty corner. And we used to go to Dr. Fran's in Madison. She had spiritual roundtables too, but sometimes it was kind of hard to get there. And so Teresa says, why don't we start our own? And I said, yeah, that'd be a great idea. Well, little did I know that she meant to start it at my house, not her house. But it was fine. It was fine. She had two little ones, and so having it at my house was fine. It was informal. We never knew if it was just going to be Teresa and I, or how many people were going to be sitting around the table. There were times when we would have, let's see, how many people can I sit at my table? 8, I think, at my table with a leaf in, and then we had people standing around the outside or sitting on stools and stuff on the outside of the table ring. And it was fun. Somebody would always grab the cards, whatever deck of cards I had out, and they would start shuffling and maybe doing impromptu readings or grabbing, selecting one card that we would talk about. I was basically a facilitator, making sure that whoever had something to say had the moment to say it. And so sometimes it was like, wait a minute, you can't... we have 3 people talking at one time. Wait, and then we'd go in turn. and we had lunch together. I would provide, maybe like a vegetarian soup or something like that, and everybody would bring a little something. So it was kind of like a potluck smorgasbord kind of thing. And it was fun. It really was. Ginger was around then. She was quite young, and she liked soft things, plush toys and that kind of thing. And we found that the ladies had to close up the bags that they would leave along the door, near the door, because she'd get mittens and scarves and Kleenex and all that kind of stuff. So it was a good time. It really was. I remember the one that sticks out in my mind the most is a really cool memory. Is we had, I don't know, maybe 10 people there, and starting a topic. We didn't say, oh, we're going to be talking about this today. No, it was whatever topic that came up, and the ladies happened to talk about cats. Almost everybody around the table had a cat, and they were talking about cats and that sort of thing. And one of the ladies, and somebody who is relatively new to the spiritual roundtable, she says, I was hoping you guys could help me. I'm not sure how to select a Reiki master. I want to learn how to do Reiki, and I'm just starting. I don't know. I don't even know what questions to ask. Well, we had 4 Reiki masters sitting around the table, 3 of which who had been practicing for like more than a decade. One person was, I think, close to 18 years or something like that at the time. And that was one of the best spiritual roundtables that happened, because it was from the heart. And these Reiki masters sat and made suggestions to her, and what they told their story and how they got started, and what worked for them and what didn't work for them. And it was, I wish at the time we were doing show recordings, because that would have been a really, really great show to share with other people. And it turned out that each one of them gave her a business card, and said any one of them would have been perfect for her to study with. And she did. She selected one of the 4, and it was great. I just loved it. To come and not really know anybody, and being brave and saying, I don't really even know the questions to ask, but I want to learn Reiki. How do I get started? I don't even know, about Reiki masters and what to ask them, that kind of thing. And so it was great. I like that. So this could kind of be like our spiritual roundtable, sort of. live stream. Oh my gosh. Let's see. I'm missing some comments in the chat room. Let's see. Lisa saying, missed you too. Cindy, same here, she says. Hi, Margot. I'm glad you could join us. Elise is saying, then went back to college and worked for hospice. So she worked for Amway for a while, for years, and then went back to college and worked for hospice. Yeah. Hello, Jocelyn. I'm so glad you guys are here with me. It's Tuesday morning. And so anyway, spiritual roundtable. Those are fun. Do you guys have those in your community? Do you have anything like that there? I know most of you who are with me, I think you guys are from Michigan, if I remember right. Do you guys have anything close to you there that's like that, where you're meeting like once a month and that sort of thing? For those who didn't see the other morning, my travel mug came. Yay! Stainless steel. And so, it's good. I have 2 mugs that are Star Nation something, but not a travel mug. So I ordered myself a travel mug. Today's card draw is the East Shield. Now, we've had the East Shield before. It's about illumination and clarity. I love the design on these cards. The eagle represents the East. And the East is where We meet the Creator every morning, right? It's a brand new day. It's a new beginning. The old saying, if you have something on your mind, if something is bothering you, you have a concern, or you have a big decision to make, is to sleep on it and let the new day bring whatever information that could be helpful for you to make that decision or to deal with it, right? And to have to meet the Creator every morning. Being up, generally speaking, I am up for sunrise almost every morning. And there's nothing like that moment. I love it. The moment where the sun is just breaking the horizon. And for me, talk about unity breath. For me, where grandmother Earth and grandfather Sky meet, they meet twice a day, sunrise and sunset, right? And at both times, if you ever noticed, is that when they meet, and it's usually so beautiful, right? The colors, how the air feels and smells, and many times there's just a moment of complete silence as the sun breaks the horizon. It's almost like the whole universe waits for that to happen. And in the studies that I've done, sunrise and sunset are the times when grandfather Sky and grandmother Earth, when they meet like that, is that they're showing us their love for each other. And the beauty that they show us is also the love that they have for us, their children, right? And so that is the creation of the Holy Trinity right here on Earth. And I'm going to be doing the Unity Breath meditation tonight for Communications from Home show at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. And so we're going to be doing the Unity Breath, and that is what the Unity Breath is all about, love. And so if you want to join me, it's a great meditation to do, guided meditation. But it reminds me of what Jamie Sams writes about the East Shield. The East Shield. I have the ceiling fan on, so it's a little breezy in here. The East Shield, illumination and clarity. Now we've had this card before, and I was asking my spiritual team when the card popped out. Actually, it was like, I want to say 4 or 5 cards came out, and I thought, am I supposed to cover 5 cards this morning? Really? And it was like, no. Shuffle those, and then we'll show you which one. And so I spread them out. After I shuffled them, I spread them and I ran my finger across them, asking to please show me which card. And when I do that, it feels, how do I want to say this? It's a little sticky. I don't want to say, like honey kind of sticky, but as you're running your card over the gloss cards, it kind of drags a little bit. And to me, that's a little sticky. And so this was the card that felt a little sticky. So I pulled it out and realized, oh, it's the East Shield. Okay. And then I flipped the other ones over, and every single one of those cards are cards that we've had in the past. But this is the one that Spirit wanted us to go over one more time. And I'm thinking, okay, what do we need to cover? And going over Jamie Sam's writing again about it, there was 2 things that Spirit wanted us to cover one more time. And that is the 3 paths that lead to illumination according to the Seneca. Okay? Elise, can you learn Reiki online? I don't know. I'm not a Reiki person. Okay, I do hands-on, but that is something that I didn't go to a teacher to learn or to get activated, Elise, where are you from? Are you from Michigan? Because Tracy Civic is going, I don't know if she's having a class or had the class, but she has a Reiki class starting. I want to say it was this month, but it could be in June. And she's a Reiki master. We could, I know what we could do. Why don't we pose that question, your question, in the Academy closed group, okay? Because I know that there's Reiki masters in that closed group that if they have an online class available, or if it's possible, we could host that through Star Nations. We just need to find a teacher. Um, Polly Joe might be a Reiki master, come to think of it. We could ask her if she'd be willing, if it's possible to learn Reiki online, and if it is possible, would she be willing to do that? And I'd be happy. I'd be happy to sponsor it, and to get it provided to you guys. So um, that's a good question, Elise. We'll find the answer. Thanks for asking that. We're going to find out. There's always a possibility, right? Always. As I look over my shoulder and see the teaching Buddha, I'd be happy to do that. Speaking of Polly Joe, before I get started with the three paths to illumination, Polly Joe and I just talked about this not a few days ago. She's going to be teaching a class here in person in October 5th and 6th, if I remember right, something like that. It's at Saturday, Sunday, at first October 5th, 6th. She's going to be teaching a class regarding healing and exploring the heart chakra. And so she's going to be in person here. So we got that all, we're getting it all figured out, and we're going to be announcing how to get registered and all of that kind of stuff soon. In fact, I was working on the promotion last night. We just have to polish up a few things before I get it announced. And so she's going to be here in Wisconsin at the Academy in October. Yay! The other one that we're going to be doing here in September is Minnie and I are getting together. Minnie Kansman and I, my sister Minnie and I, we go way back. I want to say it was like 2001 or 2002 when we first met. And through space clearing and feng shui with Denise Lin all those years ago. And anyway, we have fun teaching together. And we're going to be doing a class here that we've been promising people for years. Years. We taught a class a long time ago at Great Lakes Retreat together called Hogwarts 101. Hogwarts 100, I think it was. Anyway, we had, we had the maximum and more than the max number in that class, and people wanted more. And so we're going to teach Hogwarts 102 here in September. The 22nd, weekend of the 22nd. So yeah, we're going to turn the Academy into the Hogwarts. Lisa's saying, I've always been hands-on also, but not formally trained. Me either. My guides are the ones that lead me, and I use it on Mom every single day. And so, but if you want to be a Reiki master and hold that lineage, it's important, if that's the path that you want to take. Talk about paths. Let's talk about the illumination. The Jamie Sams, from the Seneca point of view, and the Seneca Nation is from the Northeast, okay, and part of the Algonquin speaking nations. And they say that there's three paths to illumination, three paths to the golden door of the East. And she tells a story that she was walking with an elder, and he was teaching her about Spirit of the East, right? And or Shield of the East. And along the path, she found three items. And each item she found, she put down some tobacco and then picked up that item or the information from that item. And the first one that she found was a pot shard. And it was a symbol of the artist's creativity. And the pot shard he says it's the first path to use any talent or creativity you have, and you will know illumination. So when we are being creative, right? To me, it's like a derivative of the creator. To be creative, that we are actually using some of the gifts that we came in with. Whatever it is that you're really good at and you find to be fun and enjoyable, and when you're working on it, or the project, whatever you want to call it, time flies by. It's like time doesn't exist, right? You could get lost in it for hours. It's one of those things that you start like, you look up at the time and it's 10 o'clock, and the next time you look, it's like 1 o'clock. It's like, what happened to the last, 3 hours, right? That is when you're being creative, and you're doing something that you really enjoy and that you love. You're so close to your original vibration, your original frequency in those moments. And so that is one of the paths to illumination, is creativity. So anytime that you can use your creativity, you're on the path of illumination, according to the Seneca. It's one of the paths, right? So whenever I'm making a drum, it's on the path to illumination. What went through my head really quickly was I love to paint rooms. A lot of people don't like painting. I do. I love it. It's like another form of meditation for me. And so I don't know why that went through. Maybe I'll be painting a bedroom or something soon. I don't know. All right. The second path. The second path is what came to Jamie Sams, because she walked right by it and left tobacco for it. Didn't pick it up though. Was a snake. It was I believe it was a blow snake, she said. Anyway, and the snake was sitting on some eggs. And so Jamie Sams did put some tobacco down for the snake, but gave it a wide berth, right? And the elder that was with her told her that the second pathway to illumination is guarded by our sister snake. She sheds her skin, and we see this shedding as a way of letting go of old habits. The snake medicine people transmute poisons to change and heal. So the second path to illumination is about healing and transmuting poisons. So when you think about that, it's exactly what we do. We work on our own stuff, right? About healing our traumas, and our mental and emotional traumas. That's huge, huge. No matter how big or small they are, the more often that we can get those layers healed, the closer that we can vibrate to our original song, original source, to the creator, right? Vibration. So the second path is about healing and transmuting poison. And some of the cards that we've gotten, they've even talked about our mental thoughts. And I think it was in the pipe. And they were talking about the way to peace is inside, is inner work. And you can't have inner peace if your mind is doubtful and filled with anger, and those kinds of things, right? Makes sense. And so the path to illumination is really about having a peace within. And so when we do those kinds of healings, we have more and more peaceful and joyful moments in our lives for longer periods of time. Third path. The third path, what Jamie Sams found on that walk with that elder, was a penny, a copper penny. And so she put some tobacco down for it, and she picked up the penny. And the elder was telling her that the penny is a symbol of energy, and that that kind of symbolism came with They call them the white eyes, but came with the Europeans. Okay. Um, Indigenous people on Turtle Island here in the United States, our ancestors, hundreds of years ago, didn't have currency like that. They didn't have metal coins. They didn't have paper currency. What they had was their own energy. And so things that they made exchange for something that they wanted from somebody else. So even our own work, if somebody needed help, putting up their home or taking down their home, or because they were going to be moving, you're helping each other. And so it is that act of sharing and being helpful. That was the energy exchange. And the elder says that illumination's third path is rugged, but the proper use of energy exchange will bring understanding of all material and non-physical forms of energy. The greatest lesson of the third path is that true energy exchange is sharing. So even though we may exchange the currency, it's in the act of sharing. Okay, it's not that the currency is bad or negative. It's the belief underneath it, right? So if you're still doing the exchange, you're still sharing. The currency is just a symbol of that sharing. A lot of people get kind of, I was going to say concerned, or a little bent sometimes when it comes to charging a fee for spiritual classes. And that some people say that spiritual information should be free. Okay. And there's parts of that statement that I agree with, that there are things about spiritual information that should belong to everybody. What we're paying for, what we're sharing, is each other's time. Yeah, each other's time. And that's what the energy exchange is about. It's not necessarily about the actual information. The actual information would be shared anyway. What we're paying for is the person's time. And in our case, it would be like the maintenance of this building. That's what we're paying for. And so, and it brings up the topic of, how do you feel about money? What are your feelings about money? The symbolism of an energy exchange. I used to say this quite often, is that money is just a symbol of our personal energy. And so when we spend our money, how are we spending our energy? Because it takes energy to make that money, right? And so when you use your energy to earn that money, then you're going to turn around and you're going to buy something with that money, whether it is pay your light bill, or whether it is to get new paints because you're an artist, or whether it is to buy groceries. You're going to use it in some way, right? And so for me, it depends on where I'm going to spend my money. Where am I going to place my energy? Am I going to place it in a store that doesn't appreciate its customers? They don't have good customer service. Am I going to place my money there? Chances are no. I'm going to go place it someplace where someone who owns that store and their staff appreciate the customers. They have great customer service, and they treat you really well when you're there. And, that's where I'm going to place my energy, right? So it's about energy allocation for me. How are we going to share? What are you going to share? Who are you going to share it with? All that kind of stuff. Hey, Amy Daniels is with us. Good morning, Amy. Thanks for being here. Amy's one of my friends down in Madison. So those are the three pathways to illumination, according to Jamie Sams in the Seneca tradition for the East Shield. And if you are on one of those three paths, They, basically are on the path to clarity and an illumination. And we are now residing in the age of illumination. Some people call it the age of Aquarius. It's actually, I call it the age of illumination because so many things are being uncovered. The truth always rises to the surface, always. If you're patient enough, it always rises to the surface. And that helps with how we discern, right? Yeah. And so there's one more thing that I wanted to cover here with East Shield that I thought you might find valuable. Jamie Sams writes that independence is the keynote to our East Shield. That independence is the keynote. And so here in the United States, the eagle is one of the symbols of freedom. And for many Native nations, it is the power animal, the totem, that flies the highest and closest to the Creator. And so it is that particular winged one, feathered one, those who fly, that takes our prayers to the Creator. And it happens to be one of the totems that symbolizes the East for many nations, not just the Seneca. The Potawatomi also, and the Ho-Chunk do as well. Yep, in the East. So with this independence, it allows us to seek the ideas that bring further enlightenment. It is in the East that we challenge and conquer our greatest lessons in the forward movement. And the first time I read that, the first time we got this card, I actually marked that sentence because it was one of the ones that kind of jumped out at me, right? So I'm going to say it again. It is in the East that we challenge and conquer our greatest lessons in forward movement. Now, for me, the East is about the spirit of air and mental thought. It's about our minds, okay? And that is the beginning of the path, the blue or black road, depending on which part you believe of the medicine wheel. The blue road. We walk from the east to the west, physically and also emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. And so all of our life lessons go through all four of our bodies as we walk this road, gaining our wisdom and our knowledge, using our gifts the best we can, learning how to master our gifts. The hardest challenge for a lot of us who live in the West culture, the Western culture, is moving from our minds to our hearts. And so that is a part of that walk as well. East is about mental thoughts, spirit of air. The West is about emotion, the heart, the spirit of water. And so we're going from mental thoughts, which is a male energy. Some would call it yang. And we're walking to the West, and that is female energy or yin. And so it's finding the balance between that within ourselves, learning the lessons along the way. And sometimes in the Western culture, that is one of the challenges, is to get out of our heads, to get out of that mental thought, and to be able to experience the feelings, cardinal, experience the feelings, and to balance that, and the balance between the head and the heart. The balance between the head and the heart. And for me, that means that we're living our life from right here, our high heart. It's the balance between the two. It's about learning our lessons and being compassionate and kind, but also that our ego is able to help us to accomplish things at the same time. So it's the balance between the two. And I think that those items, the three items to the paths to illumination, and the East, the conquering the challenges, that's their greatest lesson. I think those items are what my team showed me this morning was important for us to cover one more time. The application of this card. The East Shield card represents a need for clarity in some part of your life. So some of us are looking at clarity for some things that are occurring in our life. It also marks a time of illumination when suddenly things begin to fit together and make sense to you. It's kind of like connecting the dots, right? And you're going, oh, that's what that was or is. It brings order can be restored through making a list of things to do, cleaning up your space, finishing old projects. When order is restored, you are then more receptive and can find clarity in what you need. Makes sense, is to get to, in order to see with clarity, you have to remove some of the debris, to put things in order so you can clearly see, right? Sense. Yeah. The illumination of the East can also be asking you to assist another in finding clarity. So in other words, it's also sharing. Remember, we were talking about one of the paths to illumination was sharing and understanding, and that kind of revolved around that penny, the currency. It's really about sharing, and so maybe it's about sharing part of your story with somebody, your experiences, and so that they can understand what they're going through from another perspective. Now, you're not telling them what to do. You're just sharing your experience with them, so maybe that they can see their experience from another perspective, a little bit broader view. It says, be creative and daring in order to stretch your concept of who you really are and venture into new realms of understanding. In all cases, the East Shield marks a time of new freedoms that come from wiping the mud from your eyes and seeing with the eye of the eagle. Observe which thoughts keep you in blinders and clear that blindness through summoning your courage and taking flight. The Eastern Shield. So, is watching how the energy moves today for you, how it comes to you, how it moves around you, within you, and what part of the information that was shared this morning, how that affects your day, what you can use from it, right? Draw from it. And take, you have to discern for yourself what part of that information feels good to you, that resonates with you, and keep that. Watch that. Be aware of it. And the others, if it didn't resonate with you, that's okay. Just let it go. Just take what resonates with you. And here is what Jamie Sams writes in that poem that she does for every card. She says, "Shield of the East, illuminate my path, so I may fly with eagle to the home of grandfather sun's first light." I like that. I like that a lot. So that is Shield of the East. Have a really good Tuesday. I'm going to head back down to the house. I have help there this morning. They're cleaning the house. Yay. But I'm also getting prepared for Polly Joe's show. Polly Joe's show, Chakra Sessions, starts in about 20 minutes. And you can find that show on Chakra Sessions fan page. She'll be talking about the heart today. And every Tuesday she does a specific healing meditation around a specific chakra. So today is about the heart chakra. Hi, Mary Anderson Fry. Thanks for being here. And yeah, hugs to you too, Elise. You're very welcome. And then you can catch me later tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here, right at the main fan page. We're going to be doing the Unity Breath meditation. And so it's all about love, 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 love. With that, enjoy your Tuesday, and I'll see you back here tomorrow morning for tomorrow's card draw. Bama Mina, until we see each other again.